Hey, what's up everybody? It's your boy Flex. Today I'm going to do a quick little video about the mortar system. I had a friend asking, kind of like, how do the mortars work in Squad? And I was like, you know what, that's a really good question. I watch a lot of other videos, well-known YouTubers playing their games, and they're calling in these really awesome mortar strikes. But you don't really see the viewpoint of the person actually firing them. So I was like, yeah, cool, let's give that a shot, right? It was a question I always had when I was watching videos, and I was like, oh, give me something to do, test out some new settings on my rig, and yeah, make a short little video. So cool. Here we go. We'll just jump right into it. There's three mortar systems in the game, and there's basically skins for all intents and purposes that I can tell. I don't haven't looked up the actual like damage values or anything like that, but the rate of fire, the way you use them, all that stuff's pretty much identical, as it is similar to all the other crew served weapons. They're a little different from each other, but you know, uh, one heavy machine gun fires a lot like another heavy machine gun and whatnot. So jump in, just kind of show you the three different types that there is in the game, what they are, and then yeah, we'll see what it's like to actually fire them. So we'll start with this little guy here. This is the M252. This is a British 81 millimeter. It's from the 1950s. I think it was actually developed in 1950. Um, pretty pretty standard little mortar. Pretty cool. I do like their tripod. I guess you would still call it a tripod or bipod. I guess it's only two bipod. But kind of like this cool little angle design. I've never seen one like that in real life, but I'm sure this is exactly what it looks like. Pretty cool. This is the M1937, the Russian 82 millimeter, and guess what? It's from 1937, right? Boom. Easy to tell. Um, they also had like a 36, like a 38 or 30. Not sure the differences are. This is kind of like your quintessential mortar look setup, bipod, um, you know, your elevation, reverse knobs. This one does not have the sight on it. You'll see the other two have an optic on it, but when you use it, you are looking through the optic. So um, using it is the same as all the other ones. It just the model doesn't have the optic on it. And then this guy here is the 2B14 POTUS. This is a Russian 82 millimeter again, and this one's from the 1980s, early 80s, 82. As you can see, this one has a long tube. Um, I'm sure it's more accurate than the others, whatnot in real life. I don't believe it has any effect in the game as far as the modeling. Oh, it's actually how accurate it is, but could be wrong. Let me know if I am in the comments below. So yeah, those are the three basic. Well, not the three basic. These are the three mortar systems in the game. You will get them based on what faction you're playing as, um, and yeah, they're all used the same way. They're all fired the same way. They have basic ability of firing Aichi and smoke rounds. And yeah, that's it. So we'll just kind of jump in. Quick little tutorial, I guess, in case you don't know how a mortar system. We'll kind of talk about the four main parts of a mortar system. So the first main part is the tube. That is this guy right here. It is looks like a tube. It is a tube. It is what you fire the mortar out of. See if we can look down it. Oh, look at that little firing pin down there. Cool. That is actually a fire. Oh, just like a little bump, but that's basically what the firing pin is. Um, so anyways, yeah, that's the tube, and then you obviously have your bipod, which holds up the tube, and then the base plate, which is the base. There's the three main components, and the fourth being the optic. You don't have to have an optic to fire a mortar, but if you want to fire it accurately, correctly, it's best to have an optic sight. In-game is a little different from real firing mortars. I am not a mortarman. I was in the military, medic, but I was attached to a mortar squad for a few months while I was in Afghanistan. So I know a little bit about mortars, but I'm definitely not a mortarman. So feel free to correct me if I am wrong about anything. But yeah, generally, I do know, have a basic knowledge of what I'm talking about here. And they are super fun to fire. Uh, in real life, these are all, like I said, 80 millimeter, 81, 82, 82. millimeters, and that refers to the tube diameter. So basically how wide the tube is. You can see what else are around here. Here we go. Here's a couple mortar rounds. So these all say 82, and so at the wide part here is 82 millimeters wide. So this is the projectile. In case you don't know how mortars work, basically this is the back. The fins help make it fly straight. That's the detonator on the top, so it hits the ground, and then bomb part, if you will, that explodes. So it's pretty cool. You just put the fins in the top of the tube while you're holding the fat part. Hold it there, and then when your section leader tells you to fire, you let go. Thing slides down the tube. Put it in the top. Whole thing slides down the tube. It's a firing pin at the bottom. They got it in, but basically, yeah, basically kind of just like a bullet. It's the little primer pin there, the firing pin, just like in any modern weapon. When I know that fires bullets, little pin will hit that. It'll detonate the charge, and the charge will go boom, shoot the tube out or shoot the round out, and when it lands, the front hits the ground or whatever it hits, and the thing explodes. Shrapnel, boom, all that stuff, or burns out smoke, all that. So yeah, it's basically how a mortar system works. So we'll just jump on it, kind of do, well, yeah, I'll just show you real quick. A little, well, I'm going to show you on this one because it's just kind of like your standard, easy to see system here. So you basically, when you're really firing a motor, you have two knobs. You have this little guy here, the white knob. See, that's like a little turny handle. That'll do your elevation. Basically, this pole is like a screw here, and as you turn the knob, it screws up and down into the pod, changing the angle of the tube. And then this side handle here, that is your traverse, and that handles all minor left to right corrections. Obviously, for any large changes, you got to pick up the bipod and move it. Mortars, especially 80 millimeter mortars, are crew served weapons. And that was something I started to talk about earlier, and I kind of digressed. These are all 80 millimeters in real life. Standards you'll see are 60 millimeters, which are easily man portable, often infantry use them. They're about a two-man crew. They're really smaller and light, only 60 millimeters, and they're good for suppressing other small engagements kind of thing. Then you have your 80 millimeters, and then you have kind of like the big boys, which are 120 millimeter cavalry. Are going to use those more vehicle dependent. Although we did use them in air assault systems, in air assault operations in Afghanistan, but they're very heavy. It takes a crew of 4 or 5 to move a 120 system. They're a couple 100 pounds each. I think in our 120 system, I'm not 100% sure on the 80s, so I don't want to quote them, but on our 120 millimeter system, it was like 50-pound base plate, like 60-pound tube, and then the tripod is like another 40 or 30 pounds. So the whole system ends up being 150 pounds of weight to carry. Most of the time when we did operations like air assault and stuff, we'd have 2 men carrying just the tube. So yeah, the 120s are definitely not as portable, but the 80s are, and then the 60s are obviously really even more portable. It'd be kind of cool to see Squad incorporate the 60s into the game. I'm not sure how that would look as far as balancing everything, but it would be cool. I think you'd see a couple, basically it'd be kind of like Grenadier action, because that's basically, they're not much bigger than the Grenadiers size of explosions, but so maybe it's not necessary in the game, but it'd be interesting to see. Maybe do a mod or something. I don't know. Anyways, let's jump on, see how this looks. So you can hear you're jumping on first time. It's not loaded. Pretty simple. You can elevate, elevation, and traverse. Fairly simple. Obviously, in real life, you don't have a little compass down the bottom of the map or bottom of the screen like I do, but this is super easy. Tell exactly which way you're pointing. 110 from you, where you're going to shoot. So, in case you didn't know, mortars, I guess I'll do this. Since, you drop it in, they fire, so it goes boom, and it comes back down. So, if the barrel or the tube is facing more up, or more vertical, guess what? It's going to be closer to you because it's more up, and then it's going to come down closer. As where if it's more horizontal like this, it's fired, it's going to go kind of, like football, I guess, kind of has that arc trajectory like any good round. And then it's obviously to have more distance. So we'll fire some close. So yeah, you see I already lifted the tube all the way up. This is as high as it'll go, nearly vertical. So you'll see on the left you have the range and the mills. And so this little wheel, as you roll your mouse up or down, changes the wheel. And those are all what they call mills, or well, I can't even pronounce it, milliradian, but everyone calls them mills. And so you'll see the more vertical the tube, the shorter the range. 50 meters is capped out. It won't let you go any higher than that because guess what? You don't want to shoot a mortar less than 50 meters to you. If you do, like, you're in some serious trouble. So, obviously you don't want to danger close yourself and blow yourself up either. So 50 meters is the closest. And then obviously reversing all the way down, you can reach 800, which is going to give you a range of 1250 meters, which is way out there. So just for quick little funsies, we're going to launch 3 rounds. So the way they do it in a squad, obviously you have your sight, you line up your sight, and then you figure out your mills for your distance. So the way they do it in squad is you can basically fire 3 rounds fairly quickly before you have to reload. So basically it's just like this, like, and then reload. That's about as fast as you can fire them. You'll see them land here in a second. They make a really cool sound too, so I'm going to kind of move out here. Listen to it. As you can hear, definitely you can hear the inbound coming in a second or two before they hit, which seems easy now, but in combat, you're like, it's just enough time to like scream, like get into cover, mortars incoming. That's about it. And then you're going to start running for cover, and then they're going to start dropping. So yeah, in the game, 3 round kind of simulates a section. Usually mortars operate in 1 or 2 or 2 to 3 gun sections, depending on the size of the unit and everything. But so it kind of simulates that. You can also rapid fire 3 rounds out of 1 tube. So pretty realistic in that sense. I think they add the reload in there to help kind of disperse it from being too crazy, although you can really just get some good barrages going, especially if you have 2 tubes, which I've played a couple games that do that, and it's pretty awesome. Oh, sorry, doing a lot of talking, getting a drink here. So yeah, so 3 round, we're back on the gun, we will sight it. So we will kind of do a little practice here. So let's say, keep it simple, right? 100 meter target, we can see it, it's right there. We look over to the left here, it says 100 meters, you have to do 1558. So we're at 1579 right now. So that's 1560, so down 2 will be 1558. Pretty simple, right? Obviously this is 1550, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1555, 6, 7, 8. So it's pretty easy to see. Intervals 10, you can count them off. Boom, ready? So we'll just see this velocities real quick. And you'll see I'm not moving my aiming at all. I'm not changing left to right. I'm not changing the elevation, but you do get a natural spread, which is pretty cool. Mortars do that naturally. They're, each little... Sorry, I like hearing the sound. Sorry, I really like hearing the sound, so I kind of stopped mid-sentence there. But each round naturally has a little bit of a difference. They might have a slight bent fin. They might have been built slightly different. So their path through the air is always going to be slightly different. You end up with a natural little spread anyways. And also, I'm not sure, obviously in the game it doesn't do this, but in real life, every time you fire, the base plate settles a little bit, the bipod moves a little, the barrel shifts just a fraction of a millimeter, whatever. Each one of those little incidents or each one of those little changes, no matter where it happens on the system, is going to change the overall flight trajectory. Obviously, it doesn't change too much. They all land fairly close. But it is pretty true in real life. One thing they say in the military is if you're under artillery attack or mortar attack, something like that, one of the safest places to go is to another bomb hole. Kind of like a unwritten knowledge thing that people pass down over the years. I've never been under mortar or artillery attack. I can't, specify that or speak to that validity. I've never having never experienced it, but the chances of rounds landing in the exact same spot is fairly slim. Obviously, that changes. If you're firing 100 rounds at the same area, you're going to have a lot more rounds impact. 3 rounds like that, chances of one landing on the same spot can be pretty minimal. Um, Obviously, if it's only 3 rounds, you're not going to even have time to figure out where the first one landed to jump in the bomb hole. But anyways, I've digressed. So yeah, you can see pretty simple system, pretty cool. We'll try something a little more difficult here. So we'll zoom out to the ring. Now this is pretty easy. They set these guys up at 100, 150, 200, then 300, 400, 500. So for the sake of doing this, see what I can see. I did not make a squad. Let me just... Okay, so I am a squad there. Cool. So now I can give myself designation. So this is kind of how it works in real life. In the game scenario, I've only played one game where I actually fired mortars in a public server in combat situation. So I'm still new to this, but this is basically how it goes. So you can say, whatever, 200-meter target right there to this guy. So squad will attack it and it'll say, hey, give me a fire mission. Most of the time it's an attack marker, it's a fob marker, it's something, it's not a fire mission, but there is that option here in the game. You'll see it, but a lot of times different symbol. But normally when you're playing in game, on the bottom on your compass rose, you'll see the attack markers will show up and it'll show you the distance. So it's super easy to tell as far as the game goes. We know this one's 200 meters. I can see it directly right there. But normally this little symbol would show up down in your compass rose down here at the bottom. But we know we're shooting 196, 200 meters. So 200 meters puts us at 15, 17. So yeah, 15, 17. Boom. I'm gonna fire 3 rounds, see how it goes. Off. Show you the binos. Get up here, see what we hit. Should land right around that tank area. Obviously, it's not going to be dead on, but it's going to be close enough. That one was a little in front of it. That one's a little bit next to it, and a little behind it. See? You see a little spread, like 1, 2, 3, little spread in the area, but if, that was a real vehicle, it would have taken some damage. If that was a squad of infantry, obviously, hopefully, they shouldn't be so condensed that they would actually be spread out, and that would probably hit 2 or 3 of them easily. As long as your mark's on range, or as long as your mark is accurate on target, basically. Yeah, words are tough. Cool, you see that is the 200, so let's... I don't really know why I'm still marking them. You all know I'm not actually going up here. But we'll do it for fun. I just want to hop off here because I can't see, and since I don't have that marker on the bottom, would I say the 500, right? Okay, so that guy straight in front of us. Okay. Hop back on. Guy is 500. Shooting the 500-meter target, 13, 7. Oh, just bring her down. Pretty easy, right? Actually, it was 1388, so I actually would have been off. 1387. I graded a little bit while I was rotating. That's one thing you'll see per the comic, especially if you're doing big mill changes. Scrolling up and down, you kind of get some left and right drag. Most of us naturally just your mouse, you might not pull it straight back or whatever. Get a little bit away. So I always double check that after I do my mills because the mills don't move. Boom. Okay. So let's we're just gonna launch 3. See how it goes. Forgot I already had binos at 500 meters. There's a 20-second flight time on these. This is really cool too. You'll see the sound effects. So it's really cool. This game has really awesome sound effects in that, and obviously being at that distance, light travels faster than sound, so we saw the impacts before we heard them. And then you hear a little bit of that kind of residual echo from the distance, and yeah, it's really cool. One thing I really like about Squad is the sound quality. You can really tell what gunfire is and what direction and close, medium, short, long distance. The more you play, the more you figure that out. But I just saw pretty good dispersion on those those rounds landing. The further the target, the more natural dispersion you're going to have, and that kind of makes sense. It's kind of like with anything, right? Like if I shoot a sniper rifle, well, sniper rifle's a bad choice, but shooting like an LMG, you're going to get a much farther spread at 1,000 meters or at 100 meters, because yeah, obviously distance, right? Um, cool. So that's basically it. So one last thing I guess I'll just show you is smoke rounds. We haven't done that yet. So switching over to the smoke, again, 180 millimeters, well, 181 or 81 millimeters for this gun, 82 for the other two, but same thing. And this guy, we're gonna shoot him close, see the effect. And I didn't manually disperse them. Maybe the next salvo we'll do a little bit of a manual dispersion. Show you how you can just swing the gun to get a little bit of a dispersion in. You can see pretty good dispersion, super effective. I timed them. They have a 40-second burn time. So yeah, you can see obviously you can't see any of those vehicles that are right there, including the one that's like 50 meters. Obviously I can run through the smoke. You get this cool kind of like edge of the smoke effect. Players will be able to see you, obviously, just like you can see through them, but it's still very hard to target. But you can see 100 meters, it just disappears, right? Just fall back in the smoke like boom, can't see nothing. So obviously these mortars are great for blinding enemies, especially heavy machine gun positions, tow positions, defenders in general, or you gotta attack and if you're attacking, you'd be blinding the enemy. But if you gotta cross an open field, you're something that you don't want to just run through, call down a smoke mission, and you'll get some awesome cover visually. And it works. You got 40 seconds to get across the field, so definitely helps break up some of that battle. Yes, I don't know what that means. You guys know? You guys know how to use smoke. Same as smoke grenades, same as the grenadier. So yeah, cool little thing. So we'll do a little of a trail, I guess. Try to do. So keep it at 50 meters, but say we're trying to put off like a whole, kind of like a whole sight line here. Reload. 3 rounds per salvo. But so it was a 6-round first. And you'll see where you can. You can see you can basically smoke out a whole area. Or if you imagine those are Aichi, you can kind of hit a whole area. Obviously those are 50 meters away, so those changes were quick. At distance, you don't need to move much, but you can lay down a pretty good wall covering for Aichi fire on a pretty wide area just by kind of traversing them left and right. That's another obviously change based on launches right now. switch back to HE because I don't know, more fun. I don't know. Yeah, I guess for this, be more fun, but just see more of the dispersion. But go to that. Let's go. Let's go 50. Oh, we can't even go 15. Go 1250, right? Max range. See if we can hit that bad. I think it's that target right there. Max range 1250. See, I'm getting way off with those. Down to 800 mil. All right. Fire. Let's see how we can go. You see on the bottom there it says, right below the mill, it says average flight time. In real life, your mortar team will calculate the average flight time based on the charges, the amount of charges they put in. Or off actually. Aiming at the 750. Dope. Well, that's embarrassing. Look at that. But you can see it was target. I guess I was just looking at the wrong target. Let's see if we can do that one more time for funsies. Oh, I can't even see targets. See if we can do a different one. Better. Guys got a little sightline. You will see also this one is a little different as far as how the optics looks, but basically essentially the same thing, just kind of standard crosshairs. This one's got a bunch of Russian writing. I don't know or I don't know those. Obviously, more corrections. So yeah, so there you go. Kind of at the range. There you go. And you can hear that sound delay. Almost obviously twice it doesn't. The other one, twice the delay. The second round impact, first one. So kind of cool. So yeah, it's basically how you use the mortars. Pretty simple. The more you get used to it, like I said, the tack marker is down on the bottom. Definitely makes it because you just swing your marker and do the distance, which will be down on the attack marker on the bottom. If you're familiar squad, which I probably are if you're watching the video, then you'll know what I'm talking about when I say the attack marker. They show the distance and everything there, so pretty easy. Obviously, sometimes you might have to do a little bit of math, and then the other factor you have to deal with is elevation change. This is a straight flat range, but if you're trying to top of a hill, you actually need to send the round further. You're trying to go into a valley. Like if you're on top of a hill, that round's going to hit, if you're aiming at 500 meters, that round's going to hit 500 meters at the same elevation. So if you're shooting down into a valley, that round's actually going to go further because it's not going to hit the ground, until it gets below a certain elevation, but it gets below the elevation. And so that's where you see the corrections come into play because obviously are not perfectly flat and you're not firing in the and so you might be like, oh, it's 450 meters, great, we'll put it at 1409, but then someone who's calling in the rounds, most of the time someone knows something's there, knows enemies there, they have eyes on, and they'll tell you, gotta go a little further, gotta go a little shorter, a little bit left, a little bit. And so you see those small corrections. Obviously, distance. You make a correction or two, fire a couple more rounds. Basically, what they call walking in the artillery, walking in the mortars. So they see where they land, they tell you, correct it, add 5 mil, bring it out, walk it out 50 meters, whatever. And then you do that, and then they'll call another correction, let you know if you're spot on, whatever. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Definitely a cool mechanic in the game. Not as hard as you would think once you practice a little bit. Spend 20 minutes like I did right now. Playing around in them, practicing here, and to be able to do it in game. A lot of fun. Just be careful. You do need a lot of ammo. Right there it says rearm costs 20. So about $25, 20 for 3 rounds. So each salvo costs 25. Isn't terrible, but you definitely can blow through ammo pretty quick. You do 4 rounds, that's 100 ammo right there. So definitely don't want to just be wasting them, but they can be super effective if they're on target. You're laying them down, well worth the cost for sure. Cool. I think that's about it. If you guys got any questions, orders, whatnot, I haven't fired this guy. You'll see it has no sights on it, but when you go to use it, it has a sight. So fires, sounds, reloads, basically looks else. So cool. Thanks for watching. Hope this answers some of your questions. And yeah, let me know if you guys want to see anything. I'm still very new to it, so I could be wrong on something. But you know, whatever. It is what it is. Cool. Yeah. Cheers. Catch you guys later.